Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar on streaming export compliance and trade efficiency. We are so happy to have you here today. My name is Allison Carlson, and I will be your moderator today. I am Bureau Veritas's training coordinator for North America. We're going to go ahead and jump on in and get started. That way we can get as much covered as possible for you all today. But before I hand it over to our speaker today, I do want to go over just a couple of things. All right. So Bureau Veritas is a world leader in inspection and certification services. Created in 1828, the group has approximately 82,000 employees located in more than 1,600 offices and laboratories across the globe. Bureau Veritas helps its clients improve their performance by offering services and innovative solutions in order to ensure that their assets, products, infrastructure, and processes meet standards and regulations in terms of quality, health and safety, environmental protection, and social responsibility. Bureau Veritas is a business-to-business and society service company that contributes to positively transforming the work we live in. We work closely with our clients to address the critical challenges they face and to link those to emerging aspirations of society. We work with the companies to build and protect their reputations, supporting them as they forge the foundation of trust that are built to last. All right, and just a few more things. For our inspections involve on-site verification that products, services, assets, and facilities meet specifications and operate as intended. They cover a wide range of services designed to control quality, verify quantities, and meet regulatory requirements. Our inspection services help companies have confidence in the reliability and integrity of their products, assets, and systems. And our certification. As an independent third party and accredited certification body, we provide certification services to attest that management systems, services, and personnel comply with specific standards. Equipment and products can be certified to meet sector-specific or industry standards, international, local, or voluntary standards, or manufacturer or client requirements. Certification enables companies to access new markets and strengthen their brands, or simply obtain a license to operate. And a few housekeeping things here. We will be keeping off your microphones and cameras during the webinar. Any questions? I do have the Q&A open, chat box up. Please do utilize that. I also have the function of privately posting questions or asking questions so your name will not pop up if you use that feature. And if you do not get your questions answered during our Q&A at the end, we'll definitely have our speaker today reach out to you. And then the webinar will be recorded and the recordings will be sent out to you on Thursday with a follow-up email with that information. And I also will be asking polling questions. So definitely please participate in those to see if there's anything else we can do to accommodate you as our clients. So here's our speaker. I'd love to introduce her here. We have Marta Alonso. She is Bureau Veritas's GSIT Americas Manager for North and South America. With more than 15 years of experience at the company, she has partnered with businesses across the globe to ensure regulatory compliance, strengthen risk management, and enhance overall performance. Her career reflects a strong commitment to supporting organizations and achieving their goals while meeting the highest standards of quality and safety. Marta's passion for bridging regulatory expectations with practical business needs has made her a trusted advisor in the field of government services and trade. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you, Ms. Marta.
Thank you, Allison, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Do you see the slides?
Not yet.
They shifted. Okay. Oh, until I see the slides on. I'm in Florida. I'm based in Miami, for anyone who wants to know. So if there's any local companies anyone wants to ever meet, it would be quite easy if you're in this area.
Yep.
Do you see them yet?
I
or
do
did
not.
They go off? So they went off.
And I think they're popping up now.
Yes.
Yep, there they go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's get this started. Today, I'll be walking you through our services in government and private sector inspections, focusing on how we, Bureau Veritas, facilitate international trade and compliance through our supply chain solutions. So we'll begin with government services, then we'll move on to our facilitation procedure. Then we will go over inspection and supply chain services within the private sector, and then we'll have our closing and some time for questions. So starting in the first area of government services, Bureau Veritas is an accredited testing, inspection, and certification company appointed by government authorities to conduct mandatory inspections under programs like VOC, Verification of Conformity, which is also known as Consignment-Based Conformity Assessment, CBCA. So you may hear me reference VOC or CBCA interchangeably. They both refer to the same. These inspections ensure goods meet regulatory standards before export, protecting consumers, supporting national economies, and facilitating transparent trade. Besides our mandatory inspections, we also offer voluntary inspections, which are tailored to meet client needs, helping businesses manage risk and improve their performance. And these are pre-shipment inspections, ensuring goods meet buyers' requirements. And one of the services I'll go into more detail later on in the webinar is our customs classification of goods, which falls under this category. Why? I don't know about you all, but for me, when I understand why I'm doing something, it just makes it that much more easier. So these inspections, they're not just mandatory because there's a reason behind why these countries put these programs in place. It's not just regulatory formalities. Basically, for developing countries, there are critical safeguards that need to be put in place. The goal here is simple: making sure that the products comply with the regulations of their destination country, which means safer products for consumers. Like you can see here in the microwave, they want to make sure that the consumers are not using microwaves that can catch fire and blow up, smoother customs clearance, and also for fewer risks for businesses. I don't know why, Allison, I have your screen on top of mine. So I'm just going to click through on where everyone is. Sorry, IT technical little glitches. I personally prefer being in front of a crowd than behind a computer screen doing this. So we'll move into, it's hard to click through here. Continue on the why. These mandatory inspections under these programs, they're essential to shield domestic markets from counterfeit and low quality imports. So here are a few pictures of some brand names that have been found during inspection that are counterfeit. So again, we go back to protecting consumers, preserving brand integrity for this specific case scenario, and ensuring fair competition. The why continues to be so critical. We need to highlight a few areas. The first one is trust attracts investment. So when a country enforces these quality standards, it signals to its international partners that it takes compliance very serious. Like you saw the microwave, they don't want those things to be blowing up. Let's say brake pads, they don't want their countries to be used as dumping grounds. So they want to make sure that the brake pads that are sold to them are safe to use, so there's no car accidents. Food, make sure that food arrives safe and has gone through all the testing requirements so their people can eat and not get sick. This builds confidence amongst investors as well. Importers and trade partners, encouraging more stable and long-term economic relationships. Another why reason is sustainable growth requires quality control. Without these mandatory inspections in place, markets can be flooded with substandard or counterfeit goods, and they want to avoid these situations. This undermines their local industries, endangers their consumers, and erodes their public trust. So enforcing these standards and Putting in place these requirements where inspections are mandatory ensures that economic growth is not just fast, but fair, and it's also resilient. I'm going to go into a third why, level playing field for local producers. Local manufacturers often struggle to compete with those cheap, non-compliant imports. These programs protect domestic industries by ensuring that all products, local and imported, meet the same quality benchmarks. Transparency reduces corruption. This is another why. So when it comes to informal practices, whether it be bribery at borders or other issues that can arise, having structured inspection programs like this in place helps improve governance and institutional credibility, which are essential for sustainable development. And then the last one is global market access. Let's face it, products that meet international standards are more likely to be accepted in foreign markets. So it opens up export opportunities and helps integrate developing economies into global supply chains. That's the why behind the programs, because I know that the process can be a bit tedious and a bit stringent and time consuming, but that's why we're here today, to see how we can facilitate the process, make it faster for you and more efficient so it doesn't stop your day-to-day activities. What is inspected? What is subject to the program? Each destination, I would say, not each program, each destination has a different list of requirements and a different list of goods. However, it is across industries like food, chemicals, electronics, vehicles, and many other ones, where these programs are mandatory, primarily Middle East and Africa. So our services are active in 30 countries, including such places as Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Ghana, Iraq, and many other ones. There's going to be another website later on in this webinar that I'll provide to you, which has a map very similar to this one, and you'll be able to click on the hyperlink for each destination, and that'll take you to a data sheet that will give you more information depending on where you're shipping to. So if you want to get into business into the Middle East and Africa, this is definitely a good starting point. Here. Process. This is where people might think, might get stuck on the different process points that can be a little bit complicated, but in reality, it's quite simple. It's the exporter notification is to start the process. There's a document review that is done prior to inspection. There's a physical inspection that's done. There is a shipment that takes place, and the certificate that we issue when everything comes out good is what you use to clear customs. So what is required? We'll start with a request for certificate form. Basic information, importer information, export information, place of inspection, values, what you're shipping and what documents you're submitting, such as invoices, letter of credits, if applicable, conformity documents, and also transport documents. I'm working with another screen on half of my screen. Here we go. So the test reports here, if you already have test reports available and they're from an ISO 17025 accredited lab, they can be used. We can also use in-house labs as long as you can provide the proper documentation. This usually always happens before inspection. However, if test reports are not available, then we can tag samples during inspection. They can be sent to a lab and we can review that after the fact. So we're going to go down to the routes to compliance. This is one of the reasons why I'm sure most of you attended the webinar, and it's to see how we can reduce the amount of inspections. So to start, everyone goes through Route 8, which is for everyone, all exporters, all traders, all manufacturers. Physical inspections is a must. You will have the goods inspected. You can move on then to Route B, which is for frequent exporters, traders, or manufacturers. And this is our registration process. This basically will reduce your inspections and also reduce documents that need to be provided on each and every shipment. And then the third one is Route C, licensing route. Here, this is only available. The difference between B and C is that B is going to reduce your physical inspections to 1 inspection every 3 months, and C is going to reduce it to 2 per year instead of the 4, but also a factory audit will need to take place. And further along, we'll go into what's required in each one, and I'll give you some numbers to have a better idea. So that's where we're going to our facilitation procedure, which is designed to reduce administrative burden and accelerate the shipment process, which we all want to do. And that's with Route B first. Like I said, frequent exporters, reduce documents. This leads to much faster issuance of your certificate. So you can have a certificate issued to you within 24 to 48 hours once you are under this route. Now, I will point out, not all products qualify for Route B. We wish, but they do not all qualify. You will go through a pre-qualification process. Once it's granted and you are under Route B, it will be valid for 1 full year. If you are a and I'm back.
Hey, can you, Marta, can you
Yes.
redo that last slide, please? I think you cut out.
Okay, yeah, my
Thank
thing
you.
cut out. On here, C
The
or
slide
B?
before, right here, this one, B.
Right here.
Mhm.
Okay. So Route B, we go back to the route that's applicable to frequent traders. It's going to reduce the physical inspections down to 4 per year, and the certificates will be issued within 24 to 48 hours. I did notate that in this process, not all products qualify under this route. There's a pre-qualification process that you do go through to see if you qualify. Once it's granted, then you can proceed under Route B, and it's good for 1 year, but not every destination. So we always ask everyone, obviously, to reach out to us to see and look at the current scenario to see if we can put them through B, or then we'll move over to C, but that is only for manufacturers. Here, instead of the 4 inspections, you're going to have the 2 inspections, but you're also going to have 1 factory audit within the year. I put some numbers here to give you an idea. When working under Route B, let's say you are shipping just once per week. You're talking about 52 inspections annually, which would drop drastically down to 4. That's a 92% reduction in physical inspections. This is huge in saving time, resources, and still ensuring that you're compliant and have market protection. If you are a logistic company, what this can represent for you is basically you have 10 clients. 10 clients you're shipping weekly basis as well. You are doing on average about 520 inspections per year. That's going to go down to 40 physical inspections per year. Again, 92% reduction. And if we're more conservative with the numbers and say, well, I just ship once per month, you're still looking at a decrease of 67% in the physical inspections. So again, if you have goods that qualify under this process. I don't know about you, but if you tell me I'm going to reduce my workload by 92%, sign me up. So this process, what is it going to do? Streamlines everything. It streamlines the procedure, cuts down paperwork, it speeds up your shipment, it boosts trade efficiency, making compliance easier and growth within your company more achievable. And again, it's valid for 1 year. the steps that are followed. Everyone to start has to start in route A. So everyone has to have up to 4 physical inspections. I say up to because there are some programs that might just only need 3. So it depends where you're shipping to. Let's work with up to 4 physical inspections. All 4 are satisfactory and they pass the process. There's an application form that's completed. It's just a 1-page document, and then a document review. So you will submit the technical documents that are available. QMS certificates also will need to be submitted. The one thing that is necessary if you are applying for Route C is your ISO 9001 must exist, and you do have to have a factory audit. So that's the only difference between B and C, besides C being only for manufacturers. Why work with us? We're fast. I told you that my whole focus here is on simplifying things and speeding up the process. We need to move goods through the supply chain quick and be efficient, but yet do it in the correct manner where everything is in compliance. So we're fast. I like to personalize the service that we provide to our clients, which makes things a whole lot easier. So every time you call or submit a new request, you'll always be working with the same person. So those were the mandatory inspections. That was one part of this webinar that I wanted to cover and explain how you can reduce the amount of physical inspections, speeding up the process. Then we can move into our voluntary. Here is where we support clients at every stage, from production checks to container loading and warehousing inspections. For clients, this service provides fewer disputes, stronger trust with partners, and shipments that move without any costly surprises. I'm going to put together some content on an upcoming webinar where we can go through the different services offered under our voluntary programs in more detail. For now, the one that we're going to focus on is the customs code classification services, which basically helps clients correctly classify their goods. I know from speaking with a lot of clients, they are not aware that we provide this service. So what it is here, this is basically the accurate customs classification that's applied to goods that are being shipped. This is key in avoiding costly delays, ensuring compliance, and speeding up global trade. This is something that many companies tend to underestimate and tend to miscode items and not realize the serious consequences that come with the errors. So basically, getting the right customs code for your products because of a wrong code can lead to unexpected duties. It will get expensive if there's errors in the HS codes that are applied, delays, and even penalties that are faced. So what we do is analyze products and we assign the correct codes based on your destination countries. So it also depends on where you're shipping to. This service delivers independent expert classification, reducing the risk and boosting efficiency for your global trade. To give you a real world example, let's say we're working with an automotive parts manufacturer, and they have a few challenges as far as inconsistent customs classifications. They'll face delays at border, and they will be up against compliance risks. So the solution is partnering with us. We have the custom experts here at BV who can apply the correct classifications of the goods implemented through a centralized customs classification service system. We can also build a centralized certification database, streamlining the process. And the results in something like this is basically accurate customs declaration. You're going to have way faster border clearance, You're going to have consistent global compliance and reliable data for logistics and resale purposes. So whether you're an exporter, forwarding agent, or a distributor, there are 4 areas where this service can make a big impact. When you utilize the service, basically it streamlines classification for outbound goods. So this service ensures that products are correctly classified according, like I said a little while ago, to the destination country's customs codes. It improves document accuracy. Exporters must provide precise documentation, for example, your commercial invoices or your packing list. The service helps you ensure that the HS codes and product descriptions are accurate and consistent. Support market specific compliance. Often you're shipping to multiple countries. It's a lot of different information that you need to be aware of. So each within its own regulations, this service helps ensure goods meet the import requirements of each destination. And last but not least, we all want to save some money. So reducing the risk of fines, because they can be big, hefty fines, or even shipment holds, having things stuck at the border in customs. Just like importers, exporters also face compliance risk. So the service minimizes these by ensuring goods are properly categorized and declared. So we strongly believe that any customs and trade compliance related tasks can be outsourced to us if interested. Here, I touch up on our platform, Variegates. Anyone can have access to Variegates. It's accessible to importers and exporters. Here, you'll have a lot of updated information, whether it's news or regulations. You can submit online requests on this site. You can upload requested documents on the site. So we encourage everyone to visit variegates.com. And here's where I mentioned you'll be able to see all the destinations we work with the mandatory inspections. You'll be able to select the link. It'll tell you Ghana. Select the link. It'll take you to another page. It's very simple and easy to use. You'll be able to pull up the data sheet, and there you will find all kinds of information like what goods are subject to inspection. You will also find fees. These fees, the costs are set by the authorities in the country. So it's always based on the FOB value. You'll see what it costs to go through the inspection and certification process. It'll also detail what it costs to go from route A, B, and C. So each one is there. In short, whether it's government compliance, trade inspections, or customs classification, our role is to help our clients trade safely, efficiently, and compliantly. I speak fast. Like I said, I'm usually more accustomed to speaking in front of a crowd than to a computer screen where I don't see anyone's face. If I spoke too fast, I truly apologize, but I can open now the questions. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take any. And if there are any other questions that I may need to further look into, if it's more detailed, like what goods you're going to be shipping to what destination, we'll have to take that offline, more like on a one-on-one. But yes, Allison, I spoke fast. My throat's even dry.
No, you did great. You're doing wonderful. We do have a few questions.
Okay.
So bear with me here. I'm going to get it pulled up. They're loading. Okay, so the first question is going to be, what are the main differences between Route B registration and Route C licensing for exporters and manufacturers?
So B is for frequent exporters. C is only for manufacturers. There is a difference in price between B and C. It's minimal, but it's a small one. And also the amount of physical inspections. So under Route B, if you qualify for that one, you go down to 4 inspections for the year. C, it's less, it's 2 inspections because there you're working directly with the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. But there is a factory audit that needs to take place. And we do have remote services. So we are able to do these audits remotely, no matter where the companies are located.
Great. All right, we do have more questions. So It says, can logistics providers apply for certificates on behalf of exporters, and what information do they need to provide?
Yes. So this one is quite unique because as a logistic provider, if you have tons of clients who are shipping to the Middle East and Africa, they're all going to need to do these mandatory inspections. So as a logistic provider, you can apply directly on their behalf. You do have to go back to your clients and they do have to share with you any technical documents that are necessary. But the application, the route is granted only to the logistic provider. So the company who applied on behalf of their client has that issued to them and it's confidential. They use that. Now, on the flip side, if the exporter or the manufacturer directly applies, the registration that is under their name can now be used with any logistic company that they choose to work with. Usually they always stick with one, sometimes they use two or three at the same time, but they're able to share their registration. The logistic company cannot share the registration. That would be the difference between the two.
Okay, great. We have more questions, so please keep them coming. It says, it seems like the uploaded documents are not seen by the BV agents working on our cases. I keep being asked for them via email after uploading them.
Uploading them, I'm assuming through the Verigate site?
It does not say. I'm not quite sure.
I can take that on a one-off to see if there's
Okay.
some kind of IT issue on why something, they obviously, if you're uploading something, it should be there. So I'd have to look into that with another group.
Okay. What I will do then is I will get that person to you and you can have a one-on-one
Okay.
conversation with them. All right. Another question is, what information do I need to provide for CCCS to classify my products correctly?
Okay, for that service, you need to submit product data sheets, any technical specifications that are available for the goods that you're shipping, also any relevant test reports, and that's what will help our experts assess the goods and assign the correct customs code depending on where the items are being shipped to.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that's going to be the end of our Q&A. Like I did say earlier, we will be sending a follow-up email with all of Marta's information, her slides, the recording from today. So that way, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Marta or myself. Be happy to get you guys together. But I do appreciate everybody that has come in today and has participated in the webinar. Marta, you did wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.